It is Uncle Joe. You know, he was country first. He was USSR first.
Yeah.
I can't believe that we have the honor of talking.
And he ran out of Ukrainians to starve, so he came to talk to us.
Mr. Joseph Stalin, are you looking for Americans to help fight your war?
I really am. I'm just running out of people, and I'm trying to get maybe some purple-haired, septum-wearing, ring, lactose-intolerant bitches to come help me fight.
I thought you were looking for some of those Presbyterians that have been out foraging for donuts on the weekends.
Hey, listen, man, Presbyterians are just Baptists that can read.
Well, you got a point there. Listen, man, I really want to ask you about why the Department of War. I'm not going to get into that yet. Is sending F-35s to the Caribbean and not A-10s, Paul. A-10s. I know they're discontinuing the platform. I get that. We've talked about that. But this seems like the perfect platform for A-10s, the birds, to come in and take care of the thing that Trump wants them to take care of. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. So there's a difference between an all-weather fighter, which is the F-35, and a close air support, which is an A-10. So the F-35 has these guided munitions that they can use from, 30,000 feet and 20 miles away, and you never see them coming and all that kind of stuff, versus close air support, where, like in Colombia with drug eradication and stuff, we use air tractors. You know, those yellow single engine crop dusters. Well, we put a titanium tub in them. We harden the superstructure and send them down there to do poppy eradication because they get shot at all the time. And the A-10 would be a perfect vehicle to launch off of one of those ships, off the coast of Venezuela, and enforce that kind of thing. But they don't listen to me anymore. They used to, but not anymore.
Repeat after us. Bring on the warthog.
Well, no. It's an honest question, and it has to be an honest question because, listen, the F-35, for all its flaws, is still way too sophisticated to do this work. Yeah, the A-10 is the perfect platform to take care of the work. And then, Paul, you and I have talked about in the past. Well, I don't understand why we have not discontinued the F-35 program and then modified the A-10 program, knowing that future war, which started 2 years ago, is all robots and drones.
So I got to tell you, the F-35 is, I don't know, probably $18,000 to $20,000 a flight hour, where an A-10 is literally half of that. Their engines are fuel efficient, and and Argentina, by the way, has a really badass exact replica of the A-10, only it's turboprop Rolls-Royce engines instead of jet engines. But it is a great close air support platform.
I bet it is. I bet that thing looks like a frickin' a P-51.
Exactly right. It looks like a twin engine P-51, instead of the jets on the back, it's got 2 Rolls-Royce P456s on the wings. And dude, it is awesome.
Well, look, I'm not questioning Trump or for all of you that are freaking out. What I'm questioning is, and we have been questioning for a long time, is the F-35 program. And I'm not questioning Pete Hegseth either. But why are we dropping F-35s on the Caribbean when they don't have technology? This isn't a technology war against drug cartels. This is a war of attrition that we should win, and we can win it easily with older Reagan-style tech.
The Warthog.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yeah, a fully loaded F-16, by itself could take care of the mission. There's no need to go overkill with an F-35 and, because literally there's no anti-aircraft. They're not, doing evasive maneuvers because the enemy is not sophisticated.
No.
So you don't need all of that extra tech that the F-35 has. It's literally overkill. I'd like to point something out, Sean. Who was that WWE wrestler that went, whoo?
Ric Flair!
Ric Flair. So I'm looking at Ric Flair's forehead over here. Because he's stuck.
He is stuck, that's for sure. But that's okay. He can still talk to us.
Yep, that's
Ric
good.
Flair! What's going on, Ric Flair?
Wherever I'm stuck, I don't even know where it is.
It's just your forehead, bro.
Yeah, we get the
That's all we
forehead,
can
the
see
Ric
is your
Flair
blonde hair and your forehead.
Really?
Yep.
Funny thing is, I'm looking straight at you, and there's this black box, and the blue outside thing is like blinking at me. That's it.
Really?
So I mean, I could try to. I don't know.
Hey, listen, as long as we have you by voice, it's good to go. Let's fucking roll.
Yeah, it's
Let's
still being recorded and stuff, right?
Yeah, but we totally have Ric Flair tonight and his hair, and that's all we see is the forehead and the hair. But yeah, no.
I actually did brush it. I'm at the salon. I brushed it and used spray and everything, so it should be really coiffed.
It really is coiffed.
It is coiffed. Yeah. Does anyone even understand what coiffed means? Because I don't think they do.
Because, I've seen videos of girls that could quaff a cigarette.
No. That's not what coiffed means.
I know I'm being facetious.
You're getting to a point, but coiffed basically means joy, and it's used traditionally around brewing beer. So get your quaff on, brew your beer.
Quaff. I thought that was your queef.
Yeah, well, that's a totally different thing. No, yeah, totally different.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking. I've seen a queef smoke a cigarette.
Paul, I'd be disappointed if you hadn't.
Hey, I gotta tell you something right up front. I gotta apologize for last night, guys. I have all my medicine in these little boxes,
Sure.
And I inadvertently took my PM box at about 6, and in it was my trazodone that helps me sleep. And so I was watching the video today, and I'm like,
yeah. I thought
I'm not
I
a
thought
doctor. All I'm gonna say is from my personal experience is that they overprescribe. And maybe we've talked about this with JC, or at least I did a podcast with JC. They're not they're doing it because they have to survive in their field of medicine. And
Yeah.
they're not doing the thing that they should be doing, which was what, if you remember in the 80s or 70s or any time earlier, and you would go see a doctor, they would just treat you in a home. Like you would go to their home, and one of the
Yeah.
rooms was
Sure.
the visiting room where you would go, and they would just treat you individually. And now they're all coerced by uh, whatever, big medical, big pharma, but because they are,
corporate
they can't
corporate medicine.
they can't. That's the great way to put it. They
Yeah.
can't treat anybody individually. They have to treat them the way the system was set up.
Right.
And I watched Bobby Jr., who I don't want ever to be a president. I
No.
don't. But I watched him, like clips of him in the hearings that he was having in Congress, just literally light people up.
Lighten
And
them up. Wasn't that something?
tell Warren, you took $850,000 from these people. He told Bernie Sanders, you took $812,000 from these
Yeah.
people, and you're mad at me?
Yeah.
Listen, it's just it doesn't work anymore. They can't control the narrative. Look, we don't talk about this too much, but if you want to get to the real secret of Trump's effectiveness at grabbing the microphone and not giving it back, it's that when you have someone like Rosie O'Donnell, or when you have someone like Bruce Springsteen, or when you have someone like any of them
Yeah.
that choose to criticize him, in the
Yeah.
past, when it was a celebrity criticizing the president, the popular culture was like, "Oh, well, Bruce doesn't like it. He must have," or they called him a racist or whatever. Trump's a bigger rock star than any of them.
Yeah.
So they look like the no talent has been sad sacks of shit that they actually are. He totally exposes them,
Yeah.
and we've never had this. I mean, it is unprecedented. I mean, they built the celebrity culture largely to make sure they would never lose, because Republicans were always just going to be controlled opposition and weren't going to be able to match their star power. And now the stars are on the Republican side, except in the Congress, with the with the notable.
Never any accountability. Never.
No, no.
People are outraged for like 30 seconds or for the news cycle, and then it goes away.
Right.
And then, 5 months later, you see, I forget that guy's name, but he bought a Mercedes and had gold bars in his suit jacket and
Menendez. Yeah.
So
Gold Bar Bob.
Gold Bar Bob Mendez. Yeah.
Well, and that happens more often than not. And that's what the actual American people, both the left and the right, are just pissed off about. They're like, you clearly don't give a shit about us. All
Right.
you're doing is out there being corrupt and doing your thing and going from making 174 grand a year, which is a really good paycheck, even in the swamp, to becoming multimillionaires and now 100 millionaires in just a few years.
Yeah.
And so when I look at Senator Scott out of Florida, a really good guy, as far as his votes on policy go. When he says, "Hey, look, I don't want to be poor," I say, "Fuck you, be poor, leave Congress, go make money after you leave Congress. I'm tired of your shit. I don't give a crap that you say, if I go to Congress to do this job, I don't want to be poor. That was the entire reason of the founding, was that you're going to be poor for the few years you serve the
Yeah.
people. Then you
Right.
come out and restart your farms, your factories, your jobs, whatever it is. And they all need to understand it, even including Republican
Oh,
Senator Scott
yeah,
out of
absolutely.
Florida. Go
Those
fuck
guys,
yourself.
the Republicans are some of the worst. I mean, Crenshaw. Oh my God,
Crenshaw. Fuck.
Crenshaw is second
Oh,
only to Pelosi. Yeah, I
Scott,
mean a little.
Scott out of Florida, like that really, I got chafed by it when he got up and said publicly, "Well, I don't want to be poor," and I said, "Well, then leave Congress."
Well, then they
Leave
sent.
Congress.
Then they.
You're not going to Congress to get rich, and you just explained to the entire world why people go to Congress.
And then they sent the four-eyed little shit weasel out there to, make a statement that if you double our salaries, we'll quit trading stocks. And I'm like, what?
Bullshit.
What? Yeah.
They proposed that.
It's a part-time job. They don't treat it as such. It's a
Yeah.
part-time job. It's always been a part-time job. They were supposed to work at least half of the year at
They
their
got
actual job inside
they,
of their state.
they got that part down, the half a year thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know,
yeah,
they
they're
will. But
worse
they,
than school teachers, dude.
what?
They're
What,
worse
Paul?
than school teachers on their time off.
Yeah.
They were. They used to be.
I mean,
So in my village of Hawkins, our mayor is a veterinary technician, and she gets $2,800 a year for being the mayor
Yeah.
because she's a veterinary technician. She has a job,
Yeah.
and city council meetings and doing that kind of stuff. She works that in,
Yeah.
but it's
But
only a
when you
stipend of
when,
$2,850 a year.
it is a stipend, but you got to realize when they do this, they're only working like maybe an hour or two a week on that thing while they work their actual job.
Sure.
So no different than us volunteering, Paul, like you, to work on the veterans board.
Yeah.
Like, and you do that for free. This is the way government service was meant to be, and we're all totally. I think the American people will be totally okay with a siphon,
Yep.
right? Right, and giving them some sort of money to travel to DC to vote, and then travel back home to go to their jobs.
Yeah.
We don't want a permanent Washington class. And we don't want to
No.
pay them 174 grand a year and give them free access to insider trading. I
No.
think the left, the right, even the libertarians, whatever the fuck they're doing, hate all of this, and we want it to end.
That should be an easy one. But it isn't.
Because we can't get enough people to vote in
Let
primaries.
me tell you a quick anecdote. So when I worked for DynCorp, the CEO of DynCorp was Steve Cannon. His ace coon boom was Ross Perot. Perot literally has an airport, north of Fort Worth, and the whole area is called Alliance. And he gave DynCorp a building to have as a headquarters, right? That's how close they are.
Yeah.
And so when Katrina happened, Perot says, "Hey, look, I own 5 hospitals in New Orleans, and I need them protected because there's enough radiation in an MRI machine to make a dirty bomb."
I
So
remember that.
yeah,
Yep.
right. And so, we went down there and as PMCs, and started protecting the place. Well, the sheriff of Orleans Parish wanted to get in on it, so I was the program manager. So he invited me out to the Orleans Parish headquarters, sheriff's office headquarters, to have a little seance. Brothers, I pulled in that parking lot and there were no less than 25 or 30 brand spanking new Ford Explorers. They were so new that there were 2 kids out there still putting the stars and the lettering and the stuff on the door. And, there was another group that was putting light bars on them and stuff. And then I looked over and stacked 3 or 4 high were jet skis that were still in the crate. It was just endless. And I'm like, really? Yeah, you pay your deputies like $12 an hour. And how did this happen? He'd gotten on that somehow had gotten on that government tit, and just loaded himself up with all of that stuff, man. It was crazy.
It's like the corruption, that's corruption, but it's just so easy. I get it. Human beings are just like, oh, I could do so much good with all this cash, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of jet skis to ride the rivers for my cops. And you're like if you look at it from the outside, you just go, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what? What? Why the fuck are we buying any of this?
Mhm.
This is absolutely retarded.
Yeah.
And I think this we should have never purchased this. And why are you raising my whatever tax, property,
Right.
sales,
Yeah.
doesn't matter, so that you can fund all of this retarded equipment for your law enforcement instead of, let's be clear, hiring and training more law enforcement officers.
Right.
Or
And providing food and housing and services for people who had their houses absolutely flattened. I mean, and some of them were Orleans Parish sheriffs. I'm not making this up. I've seen guys wearing a gun belt, gym shorts, and a t-shirt with Crocs because that's all they got out of the house with. They're just, they lost everything. And
down to bare bones.
And what
Yeah.
happened, what the pushback was from the people was surprising, but not surprising. They were saying, we have got at least 8 to 10 large casinos in riverboats. That was their loophole, was putting them on a riverboat so they weren't on land,
Right.
I mean, when, all the bigs were there.
Sure.
And they're saying, why aren't you asking them for money? Why aren't you getting funding from them? Why aren't they writing a big ass check?
Well, they are, Paul, but the big ass checks they're writing are to the politicians.
Well,
Totally. That's at least the way I feel about it. Yeah.
yeah,
And
good point.
that brings to mind the very point, the very tip of this particular spear. You could not make a better argument for limited government, because even the most frugal person, when they're confronted with a pile of money that it seems like it doesn't have an end and it can never get rid of, the the human spirit unmoors itself from ideas of fiscal discipline and goes to, what great things can we do with this? And there's as many great things as there are ideas under the sun. But if it's public money, there's supposed to be a public trust. And that's why you fight to keep government out
Right.
of as many things as they can be kept out of.
Yep.
If you liberate producers from price discipline, if you eliminate them from the shopping behavior of a typical consumer, the sky's the limit. Just look at healthcare.
No, you're absolutely right. Do you,
Look at college tuition.
holy crap! I can't imagine. And I've got
in the
one,
60s,
I've got one that will become college age in 3 or 4 years, but I can't imagine her going to college. It doesn't make any sense to me. There's no benefit to the cost of going
in
to college.
the 60s, remember the good intentions. The government stepped in to help us with healthcare and college tuition because it was getting too expensive.
Yeah.
How we doing?
Advantage of as much as I could,
Yeah.
And my goal in life was to be a police chief. So I got a master's degree in criminal justice with a minor in pre-law, and did the thesis and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was in Florida, and I had in-state tuition at the University of Miami, and
Right.
and so it just wasn't a big nut for me to pay it off. I diligently worked and paid my,
because you could.
I tithed to my student loan.
Yeah.
And
But if you look at what Sean's facing, though, if his daughter takes those loans, there's no way she'll ever get them paid off.
Dude, teach her to weld. Send her to welding school.
No, you're right, Paul. But the point is that what's it going to cost? $400,000 to go to college now, even in a really cool Indiana school like Purdue. It's just retarded expensive. So even she wants to be a veterinarian. Veterinarians make a fairly decent income. It's above average. She'll never pay off those student loans.
No,
it's not a worthwhile. It's not a worthwhile venture to spend 4 years accumulating the debt to only be in debt for the rest of your life to just help some puppies and kitties.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get to spend time with some cute puppies.
Yeah, sure. Of course you do.
But you
I mean, there are those who could criticize me for wasting all my money hanging around with some cute hairstylists. So I kind of get the idea.
True. Well, one of the
thank you, bro.
One of the things that I've been looking at this for a lot because the job market is changing so much, JC. Is the service job. So one of my nieces, my brother's kid, wants to do the high school beauty program and get a degree while she's still in high school, while doing the beauty school, the college school.
Yeah.
And I've been telling my brother, "Fuck yeah, let her do it." And she's
Let
like,
her do it.
my brother is like, "No, fuck no." She
What?
needs a hold on, she needs a 4-year degree in business so she can own it. And I said to
No.
my brother, hold on, I said to my brother, who the fuck is gonna pay for you, for her? St- All right, brother.
She can.
Hold on, hold on. Who's gonna pay for you, brother? Are you gonna pay for her to buy or lease the building with all the suites? I don't give a shit whether she goes to college for business. Are you gonna pay for it? Because somebody at 22, 23, 24 doesn't have the capital
Yeah.
to come out of college because you wanted her to get a business degree. Now she's $400,000 in debt. Who will be the capital provider for
Yeah.
her to lease the salon that you want? And
If she won't.
he can't
Yeah.
answer that. He can't answer that.
I can answer it. If she
I'm sure
wants
you
to do it,
can.
have her do the program, okay, and then have her come here and put her nose to the grindstone and really work for 3 or 4 years, and I'll have her take home pay up to $100,000,
No,
and
it's
then
totally. You're
she can
totally
save the
right.
money and do it herself. And when she's ready to take over from me, it'll take me 3 months to show her what she needs to know about how to be the CEO.
You're
That's your business school. Yeah.
You are totally right, and I'm saying my brother is totally wrong by wanting her to send her to college to get a business
Waste of time.
degree. It's a total it's a waste. Absolutely a waste. If she's really good at making people pretty and making people feel good, she will make money without a college degree.
There are 3 jobs that you can. This is probably something people don't talk about much. There are 3 jobs that you can have where you can make a 6-figure income without a college degree. 1 is bartender, 2 is tattoo artist, and 3 is hairstylist.
I don't know if you can
100%.
see my hands up in the air, but yes.
Yeah.
And those are also things, Paul, and that no AI can take over.
Right.
No.
Nobody's going to replace that.
Yeah.
AI and robots will replace everything else. Service industry jobs are going to be what people need to excel at.
Yeah.
Right.
Warehousing,
Yeah. I'm in the.
logistics,
I'm
truck
in the right.
driving.
I'm in the right place. I'm just not sure it's going to be on. The golden age is going to be on time for me, if you know what I mean. I see.
No, I get it, but I think you actually are because you're going to be
Yeah.
in the last industry, one of the last industries that still is people centric.
Right.
Nothing like robots, and I'm telling you, this is going. You're going to start seeing this in 2026. By 2028, robots will go shop for your groceries. Robots will go do everything for you that you need them to do. They will mow your lawn. All of the people that Thomas Massey wants in from Mexico to mow lawns will no longer need a job because robots will do it by 2029. And we're gonna walk into a world that we're just not used. None of us are prepared for, and we're gonna have
Yeah.
to just figure out how to be involved in that. Are there things that we can do? Yes, JC, service industries like hair, makeup, nails, things like that. There's some other service industries that we totally humans will be involved in, but
Tattoo artist.
it's
Yeah.
gonna be weird, super weird in the next 5 years when like even Elon said, he goes, "Look, we're gonna get to a point in the next 10 years," he said, where the economy is going to have to become independent from government because the robots will do all the work. And how do you make money? And he says, we'll have universal income, which is something
Yeah.
up until I heard him say that, I said, that's the most retarded thing ever.
Hmm.
And then I heard him say it, and I said, wait. Well, with the robot and AI revolution, I don't see how we continue as humans without something else, because the robots and the AI are going to do all the jobs, and they're super fucking good at it today.
Yep.
And I use AI, Paul uses AI for
Yep.
work all the time.
Every day, dude. We're
Right?
we're neck deep in it. I mean, we are neck deep in it. And we have actually realized, so the rule of thumb for doing a big proposal for the government is your costs are 1.2% of the bid that you turn in. So if you've got $100 million bid,
Yep.
you're spending almost 1.2 million to write the proposal, and you got a cast of thousands that, graphic artists and desktop publishing and, 2 or 3 proposal people and subject matter experts and all that shit. And now with AI, we do a annotated outline in 5 seconds. You know what I mean? I mean, literally.
I
They give us
do.
an
And that's
outline.
where
Yeah.
No, Paul, I do, and that's where I think people don't understand where human jobs are going to be defunct. Because we could just ask AI to do it for us. Now,
Yeah.
will there still be some humans and some job functions? Yeah, of course.
You know what my education line is now, Sean? Learning how to write prompts. You know what I mean? So
Yup.
on my SharePoint
Oh, okay.
site,
Well, no, I did hear that
put a folder in that is literally AI prompts. So if
Yeah.
we're working a different proposal, right, you could go to AI prompts and go to executive summary, and you click on that, and that bad boy will shoot you out an executive summary in 10, 15 seconds.
Well,
And what we're learning is what questions to ask AI to get the right answer.
Yes, and that's from my experience with AI too. Uh, yes, that's what it is. It's we are learning how to ask for the thing we want,
Right.
and once humans figure out what that is, and there's a many of us that are very close. Let me unmute you, JC. You were you were or you could unmute yourself.
I think you're at a
JC.
casino in Vegas or something, dude.
Yeah, whatever. But the whole point is it that no, all of these things will just use. We're going to use AI, and there's going to be a lot less
Yep.
humans doing the things, doing the
Yep.
jobs. Like there's nobody going to be from the 1960s calculating math
Yeah.
on a abacus to get men to the moon. We'll just say, "Hey, I've got this SLS rocket. Here's what it does. I'm gonna put I'm gonna put men on the moon. Explain this to me in great detail with great designs, and it will just go 2 minutes later and
Yeah.
spew everything out.
Yeah.
And we're all gonna go, why the fuck are you using SLS rockets? They're not even
Yeah.
reusable.
Yeah. So, 3 months ago, I was the Excel spreadsheet guru.
Yeah.
You know, I could do I could do financial reports for my boss, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's all obsolete now. In the last 3 months, I can't even remember the last time I opened an Excel spreadsheet because we do it all through AI. It generates a report, downloads it to a CSV file, and I
Yeah.
ship that off to the boss, and he's like, dude, this is awesome. And I'm like, bonus.
Yeah. 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 Can I get a bonus big enough to buy a third house?
Yep.
No way. Look, like we got to look back at college kids and go, they're obsolete right now coming out of college. And you got to look at the whole trajectory of where we're
Yep.
going with robotics,
Yep.
with AI. I mean, the Amazon warehouse is already robotic, but just wait until they buy a bunch of Optimus robots that can see, hear, and understand
Oh yeah.
and sort packages. Wait
So
till they
I'm gonna
wait
tell my
till
old boss. I'm gonna
wait
tell my
till
old
they
boss that it
deliver 'em.
paid off for me to ignore all that stuff like Excel and all that. Now I don't need to know it.
that's right.
Yeah, listen, JC, they're coming
Yeah.
after you too.
What now?
No, they're coming after your industry too.
Oh, I know. They keep trying to put hair color in a box or something that people can do at home, but it doesn't work.
Don't tell my wife that, bro.
I don't think you have a whole lot to worry about, Paul, unless you're gonna put a little camo on your beard.
Holy crap. Are you making fun of Revlon? Because I'm
No,
totally okay
no,
fun of making fun of Revlon.
no, I would never do that.
So we
See you, Elsa.
integrated AI. So one of the contracts we have is we build the AC-130 gunship, formerly
Oh
known
man, that's a
as
fun
Magic
ship.
Dragon.
It's a fun boat.
Yeah, and we do them down in Waco. And this new AI
God's
software
country.
that we have not only gives the technician a dashboard with everything he needs to do, it also gives the tool supervisor a list of the tools the guy's going to need to do it. And he literally, Sean, takes a cart and just rolls it over. And although we're going to replace it with a robot, but right now we've got technicians that put all the parts, all the tools, and all the instructions on a cart, and he just rolls it over there and goes to work.
And I think that literally is what humans are going to be assisting the robots. And I'm being very serious about this. We will go fetch, they will fix,
Yeah,
or they will build because there's just so much more efficient
yeah,
than we are. And
yeah.
then eventually they'll have robots where the robots go fetch for the building
Right, exactly
robot,
right. So we
and
so
humans
we
won't
went
have a
to
job.
we
Eh,
went to we went from 2 years to build a Spectre gunship
I
to
love those things.
18 months
I love those things.
to 14 months, and now we're down to a year. We could do one Spectre gunship a year.
So what happens with the Jetsons cartoon from the 1970s and 80s, and we live in that world because it's coming. I promise you, it's coming very soon. Many of you will be alive to see this and live in it. What happens to humans when the robot AIs do all of the things. Elon's proposal was that we'll just have a universal a high income so you could just purchase whatever you need to purchase. I want some apples, or I want a new bottle of bourbon, or things like that, and you
Right.
just sit around with a human. But we won't be the ones doing the work. And I listen. I think Elon's on to something that I never understood. That's what our new future, our very new future,
Right.
is going to happen, and that doesn't matter whether it's war or whether it's doing things like economics or doing any other basic function that humans do that they get paid very well to do
Sure.
right now.
Yep.
I think AI and robotics is going to take over all of that
Yep.
probably in the next 10 years or less.
Yep.
And
I,
I don't know what humans do from there. I,
so so in my case, I can tell you what happened with me was, you know, I was a Excel spreadsheet guy, and we introduced this AI dashboard that we paid for. And what I did was 24/7, night and day for the first 6 weeks. I became a subject matter expert on doing
sure.
that to protect my job. And, now my boss is like, dang, dude, I want you to train this guy. And I'm like, you don't pay me money to train. You pay me
Right.
money to bring
Yeah.
business in, that kind of thing. So, but that's what you have to do. And I think, a guy that's putting valve covers on a small block Chevy for 28 years at the Tennessee plant, he's got to train himself or get some kind of something, to go to the next level so that he can run the robot that does it now
Well,
or
is that
input the, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
well, isn't that the thing? Because the robots will be super cheap, and they will be able to do the things at the auto manufacturing plant. And of course, it's going to make less humans have jobs, but the jobs that are going to pay super well is the guy that knows how to repair the robot
Yeah.
in the manufacturing process.
Right. Yep.
Right, when they have an actuator motor go out on their left
Yeah.
leg,
And the guy
they
can,
go like,
yep.
2 hours, 2 hours, I'll fix
Yep.
it, right?
That's how
Because
it's going to work, bro.
well, what else is scary is when the robots just know, "Oh, I can replace that actuator motor on his left hip," and just, we're good to go. Like, I never Paul, growing up, I watched the movie The Matrix whenever that came out in, like, 2000.
Yeah.
We're in 2025. I never thought Elon, was gonna bring us to this point, but we're here, and we have to realize we're here, and AI and robotics are gonna take over the world, and I'm just trying to figure out how to live in it. I have gotten good at using AI with prompts like you have, and figuring like that's the other thing. People don't know how to prompt the AI,
Right.
whatever AI you use,
Yeah.
right? And holy shit, there's the hair again. And
Well, it gets back. Listen. It gets back to the same old thing that we keep talking about, which is if you understand how to produce something, and if you understand how to think, you can understand how to prompt AI. Because your question has to be specific, and it has to have the keywords, and it has to have the insight to be able to exclude extraneous results. You want to keep the AI on track. I've got a story for you. and it was a hard lesson. Didn't cost me anything, but I learned it pretty quick. I was talking about someone asked me about the Cardinals' best infield. Now I'm a Cardinal fan, obviously, not this year, but overall, lifelong. When was the Cardinals' best infield? And I started thinking about it, and obviously the Ozzie Smith, Tommy Herr infield was really great, with Keith Hernandez in '82. But then I thought about the '60s, and you had Dal Maxville, and you had Javier, who was slick at second. You had Kenny Boyer at third, and you had Bill White at first, and then Cha-Cha Cepeda. And those infields were pretty good too. And I thought, well, who was the shortstop in '64 when they beat the Yankees? So I put in Cardinals SS in 1964, and it comes back and it tells me it was Jerry Stovall, who was a strong safety for the football Cardinals. He was an SS too. And I thought, oh, okay, Chat, you flunk. But actually, the guy who flunks was the guy who asked the stupid question. You weren't specific enough to tell him you were talking about the baseball team. So in a baseball answer, you had a picture of a football team with a strong safety.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, correct. You have to be able to prompt the AI. Because if you just ask it a dumb question, you get a dumb answer. If you ask it a brilliantly placed out, inquisitive question, it will give you the answer that, like, you literally could ask it how, and I have, and they told me, fuck you, you're wrong. How can we achieve light speed? I asked AI that, and they said, well, your particles would disintegrate because of whatever. And I said, well, let's take that theory and make it that it's implausible. How can we do it? And it started to tell me, and I used it in voice mode. And so I talked to it for the next hour, and they're like, yeah, it's totally plausible, but because of Isaac Newton and because of all of these other scientists, we don't think this could happen. And I'm like, but well, what if they're wrong? And they're like, okay. Like the AI just kept going. Fuck yeah, let's think about this, and kept talking to me about it.
Wow. It's like Groke. It's like Groke does to you on X. Just keeps bouncing it back to you, and you keep talking, and Groke keeps learning.
Right.
And I know you'd say it's Grok, but it's Groke. It's woke. Woke Grok. Groke.
Dude, I tried Facebook's AI. I tried Google's AI.
I mean, he sat there. That son of a bitch. That son of a bitch sat there and tried to make excuses for Thune having 6 weeks with the Senate out of session and no recess appointments. He says, oh, Thune said he was in favor of recess appointments. I said, well, why are they on vacation now with one senator showing up every 3 days to make a motion to, quote unquote, keep the Senate open? Hey, Groke, has a Congress that shares the same party as the president ever done this before communists did it to Trump the last time?
No, I totally get it. What I was asking, and it failed. Of course, it failed.
Yes,
I saw your post, but when I talked to about Grok with physics questions, it's way better than Facebook's AI or Gemini, which is Google's AI.
Oh, that's just those are the people that tell you the founding fathers were black. Yeah, I don't need much of that.
Right. And well, so
Gemini.
Gemini. Oh, Gemini's awful. If you want to talk about political history. But where I was going was that Grok or Grok, I don't care.
Grok.
Well, some people call it Croc because they think it's a crock of shit. Look, whatever. I don't care.
Grok.
But I had a conversation with it. I was like, how can we get humans to achieve faster than light speed, like Star Trek, like warp? And they're like, and Grok says, well, you can't. obviously your human particles would disintegrate. And I said, well, get rid of all of the rules that you know of. Let's start talking about how we can do that. And it did. That's where it got interesting to me, is that
Okay.
even if it was wrong, they're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's take a look at this. How can we maybe put fields around human genetics so that we can transport them faster than the speed of light? And I had an hour-long conversation with Aura, I believe is her name, Grok's voice companion. It was really incredible, and I just kept asking questions and say, "Well, what do we do?" And Ara was like, "Well, I like this doesn't work because Sir Isaac Newton." I was like, "Well, what if we assume they're wrong, and what could we do from there?" And that got me thinking, JC, what if we use AI in this way to to increase our ability for technology to get into the sci-fi world that we all have enjoyed watching on TV?
Right.
That is truly an innovative idea. I had not thought. I always think of AI as something that looks backward and learns about the past to synthesize hypothesis about how to answer questions in the current. But as far as predicting, sci-fi in terms of what could possibly happen.
Well, and that's where I've been
Well,
working a lot with Grok, with a lot of other things too. But Paul, jump in here. Don't you think that's the questions that we should be making Grok answer? How do we build warp engines on top of whatever SpaceX is doing? We need warp engines.
well, yeah, I think so. My experience with AI is I am more successful in doing it in layers, right? So I ask a basic prompt. And then when I get that answer, I do a more refined prompt. Take this information that you just gave me about the basics of hyperspeed and this, that, and the other,
Sure.
and refine it down to the speed of light or whatever, and then I put that in, and then I take that and refine it even more. How would a human survive, and that kind of thing. And so when I'm doing that in my industry, I have much more success. And in the AI CRM that we have a little guy at the bottom that goes, "Hey, I could go back and research, this, and this. Would you like me to run that?" And you just go, "Yes," and it
Yeah.
does it for you. You
Yeah.
know?
In that, and I think you and I, and we lost JC. I think we're both aware of that, where all of our work goes is how we prompt.
Yeah,
Right, and you go, "Yeah, of course, I would like you to look at that, but I want you to look specifically, we're looking at, um, we are aware of the challenges of traveling faster than the speed of light,
right.
not only from sci-fi, but from, previous scientists. Can you theorize a theory where we could actually do this, and what would it take?" And then the
Right.
sci-fi thinks about, or the AI thinks about it and goes,
Yep.
"Well, hold on, I don't know if we can do that. but let me think on it. And then it gives you a fucking answer.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, we live in Star Trek,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's unbelievable. Like,
Yeah, it really is.
and not only actually,
And I love
hey,
it, dude. I got to tell you, I fully embrace it, you know?
me too.
Yeah.
I'm totally okay with it. I can't wait until AI makes replicators. I can just say, Optimus, please make me a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
God, really? I get like the Star Trek. Like, I want to be very clear. Star Trek, the whole series, all of them, doesn't matter what
Yeah.
Star
What
Trek you're
era?
watching,
Yeah.
was it was meant to give you a socialist, communist type of world where you had no needs.
Yep.
That being said, that's not what's going to happen. But you will have unbelievable ability from AI and robots to not have to do much of anything
Right.
other than ask your robots
Yep.
to go do something for you. And it's
Sure.
like it's gonna happen. And I'm telling you, within a short period of time, it is. We're gonna live through it.
Yep.
We're gonna live through the period of, remember the cartoon, The Jetsons,
Yeah.
with the flying cars
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Rosie the robot.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just that's the way it is. Well, we're here. We
Yep.
made it. We made it. All right, Paul. Let's close this one out. This was
All right, brother.
awesome.
Have a good
I had
weekend, man.
fun.
Love you.
I had fun.